Hello, hello, hello again, my melanin folks. Hopefully, everyone's doing good. Everyone's gotten some good news today. I must say, this week has been so productive for me. So, today's video is going to be actually about how you can actually bring home some more money on your paycheck just simply because you have the right to. This is basically a tax trick. I would say that I discovered prior to coming here, thankfully, and I'd love to share with others as well. So if this is something that you want to find out about and how you can bring home some extra money, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and definitely leave a comment, because most of the times the comments about what video I should do next is what I actually look at and do my other videos. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So the trick is, or the deal is that the UK, thankfully, has negotiated the income tax treaties with a number of countries, including my very own Jamaica. And that means that Jamaican teachers and other teachers are actually exempt from paying income tax in the UK for 2 years. Even if their visit exceeds that period, which means, most of us teachers, we're on the skilled worker tier 2 visa, which means that we're on a 5-year route to settlement. What they're referring to is that, meaning, even though you intend on staying here more than 5 years, you only get up to 2 years, unfortunately. But 2 years is still enough. All right, now, this only applies to income tax and unfortunately not to national insurance contributions, which means you still have to pay NI, but NI has actually been reduced since January. So I believe it's at about 10% right now if you're in a specific, meaning the lowest NI bracket. They're also saying that this form, which I'll show you in a second, actually has the particulars for Jamaican teachers, professors, and research workers. So basically, they're just saying that if you fall under one of these categories, professor, teacher, or research worker, the professor and the research worker, of course, would be at a university level rather than at a secondary or teacher level. Yeah. All right, now this link, which I'll put in the description of the video below, is actually where you find this DT form, as I like to call it. And that form I'll show you in just a second. Now, you must be wondering how you actually apply for this. And this is how it gets a bit tricky. So I will admit I applied twice before I actually got through. Finally, yeah. My friend applied once and he got through, but then he had a bit of a stumble and had to resubmit some documents and then got through again. All right, now what happens is this is the DT form. That's the link that I showed you. I'll find a way to hyperlink this. I'm not sure how easy that is to do. And the form, as you can see, is a couple of pages long. Now, basically, it just wants your details. It will also be asking for a few things such as what country you've lived in, yada, yada, yada. These are the information that you should be seeing. So here it actually asks you for the income before tax and the amount of tax that was taken. So they basically just want to see how much months of taxes you've paid so that they can refund it. There's a declaration, and that's basically technically the end of it. In terms of how you actually do it, or what countries, let's do that first. What countries are actually eligible for this? I found this on the website, on their website, to say these are the countries. So they have it in categories. So say, for instance, A to C. So you have countries like Albania, Algeria, and just a disclaimer here that obviously this is over 100 countries. I have not been able to look at every single one, but I clicked on a few of them by random, and I realized that it was roughly saying the same thing, the 2-year period. Do not quote me on this one. If it's for your specific country, I would still advise check it. Yeah. So you have Albania, Algeria, Anguilla, Antigua, and Barbuda. you get the basic gist of it. So I'll be just calling on a few of them that I know, like Bahamas, you have Bermuda, you have British Virgin Islands, of course, Brazil, Cameroon, Canada. You have China, you have under the D to F, and basically the list goes on. You have Gibraltar, Grenada, Hong Kong, India, so Italy, there's a lot of countries, of course, Jamaica, you have Japan, Kenya, so you still do have a couple of African countries. You also have countries as far as the Middle East. You have places like the Kuwait, and the list goes on and on and on. I'll also put this link down below so you can double check. There are some additional resources as well if you do want to check on that. And let's look at how you actually apply. Now, thankfully, when I came up through an agency, they gave us a template, and shout out to my friend as well that also gave me his specific one that his agency sent, which I thought was a bit better than mine. So I said, let's share that one. All right, now this one, if you're looking, is actually for the school. So this will be on the school's letterhead. You basically send this to the school, ask them to fill it in. This is a template. It's very straightforward. I can't see why not. They put the date, and that's the address for the HMRC office for them to send it to. They're going to provide you with this letter. So the letter says, letter for support of eligibility for no tax NT coding. So it says, to whom it may concern, I'm writing to support the request for a no tax code for, you insert your name and full stop. So teacher's name will be working under a contract as a full-time teacher at your school name in the city and county blank. Then teacher name arrived on the date, the month, and the year that you arrived, and will be starting employment or has started employment, date, month, year again, and their details are as follows. So this is where you put the most important bits. So you have your full name. I would say it says full name. Put your first, middle, and last name. You don't want them to find any excuse to not give you your money. Yeah, take it from me. You put your passport number, your nationality, and your national insurance number. They also go down to actually state, and remember, this is because we are coming from Jamaica. That's why it's hyper referencing Jamaica so much. It says the double taxation treaty, the DT 10556, between Jamaica and the UK exempts Jamaican teachers under contract within a UK school from UK income tax for a 2-year period. Please accept this letter of support for blank, that's teacher's name, to request for an NT tax code. Should you require any further information, please do not hesitate to contact me. And below that is where your school normally puts their contact information. So this is normally your HR. They will put their name. So you'd say Miss Mary Jane, HR, people, manager, whatever the case might be. So that is the letter template for the school. I'll also find some way to hyperlink this as well if you guys need it. In terms of the template for you, because you also write a letter, guys, we don't want to leave any stone unturned. We want them to give you your money. You have your letter, so you have the date, the address that you're sending it to, and the code, the line suggesting why you're writing this letter. So it says, to whom it may concern, says basically the same thing, date, month, and year, your full name, passport number, nationality, national insurance number, which you can find on the back of your BRP, and says the same thing. So it's saying enclosed, it is a letter of support for eligibility from my employer. That's the letter that we just looked at. And should you also require any additional information because you want them to reach out to you, then you put your name, contact details. I would say put your phone number, put a backup number, put your 2 email or 3 email addresses, and then put your address. Like, why not? It's going to a government office. Now, basically, that is how we did it. In terms of the form, I would admit that the form didn't seem to be very necessary. I actually ended up getting through my second time around with these 2 letters. So I would say if you have the time or you feel to take the extra step, fill in the form. If you don't, they have access to your information anyways. They can check to see how much taxes you paid so far and in what month and so forth. So do that. that is basically it. Now, I will put a screenshot up above of my letter from them. Okay, so actually I found my letter and it says, as you can see, it came in from the HMRC. So it says, you have a tax code change and this was the happiest day of my life. This was January 4th. It says your pay income tax records has recently changed, which means that the amount of tax you pay will change. For security purposes, though, they did not give the full details on here. This was just their confirmation email because that's what I set up on my HMRC. Now, I would say I'm going to put that on screen of what that looks like on your payslip and so forth. But thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this to someone that might find it useful. And until we meet again,